Sun Dome in Tampa, Florida. We welcome you to UConn women's basketball on SNY. The undefeated and top-ranked UConn Huskies set to take on the 12-3 South Florida Bulls. Welcome to Florida, everybody. Alongside Megan Como, I am Eric Freed, and these are the two top teams in the American Conference. But when you look at the performances over the last two games specifically, UConn players played their best against USF. Last time in this building, Nafisa Collier went for 39. And in the American tournament title game, Katie Lou Samuelson went for 40. What is it about this matchup?
Well, you know, you definitely want to say, okay, UConn prepares for every game the same way. But when you're playing against the team that is the second best team in the league, these kids are super competitive, and they want to come out and say, listen, guys, you may think you have a chance, but no way. We are the best team in this conference, and we want to play that way. And, you know, the great players play great in the biggest games when needed most. And when Lou shot like this in that championship game, I mean, it was a thing of beauty. 10 for 10 from three-point range in a championship game. It's pretty remarkable.
This is a USF team, though, that returns 4 starters from last year's team. So they've got experience, and they are already an internationally experienced team to begin with. So what is it about this group that maybe gives them a chance against UConn tonight?
Well, there's a different level of experience with this group. Not only do they come back from last year, this group and a couple others, about 89% of last year's offense, but this core 4 right here will be on the floor most of the game. Kitty Aloxa there, number 33. This kid, the ball's going to be in her hands a lot to score. The kid can score from everywhere on the floor. Was 11 of 11 from three-point range this year, so another great shooter. Looking for number 22, Laya Flores, the kid second in the country in assists. The kid can distribute the basketball to who it needs to go to. Jesperson and Ferreira are great role players on this team. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch if they can come out and play their game.
USF is ranked 22nd in the USA Today coaches poll. Can the Bulls run with the Huskies tonight? As we know, the Huskies can run. UConn and USF next on SNY. UConn women's basketball on SNY. Brought to you by Citizens Bank. Visit citizensbank.com. By Bob's Discount Furniture, proud to be the official furniture store of the UConn Huskies. By Trantolo & Trantolo, Connecticut's personal injury law firm. Let our family help your family. By Greenwich Hospital, a part of Yale New Haven Health. Visit greenwichhospital.org to learn more about the Greenwich Hospital experience. And by the Connecticut State Farm agents of the game, Curtis Boyd in Groton, Natisha Pondexter in Deep River. Speak with them today. Starting lineups are presented by Subaru, the same starting 5 for UConn that we've seen in recent weeks. More on the health of that 5 in just a second. And the 5 for USF, 2-0 in the American. Laya Flores is the point guard, and the leading scorer is Kitty Aloxa at 21.5 points a game. Now let's go to Justine Ward, whose report is brought to you by Citizens Bank. Justine, you can't even wait to get going.
Yes, also wear and tear to update you on the UConn side of things. Katie Lou Samuelson's left ankle has been bothering her. Gina Oriema said she tweaked it a little bit in practice Thursday. You can see the brace that she's wearing on it. She was limited yesterday in practice. So is Crystal Dangerfield, who's dealing with some shin splints. Both of them rode a bike instead of participating in full court drills. And as far as that Charlie horse, Kia Nurse suffered against ECU. She practiced normally. She is, however, wearing a sleeve on her thigh with some padding where she got hit there. Eric?
I know it's a little hard to hear me, Justine, because we've got a great crowd here tonight.
Unbelievable.
Over 6,000 on hand here tonight to see Gino Oriema's Huskies. Gino in his 33rd year going head-to-head with a very good friend, Jose Fernandez, in his 18th year, 321 wins for USF. We're ready here at the Sun Dome. Denise Brooks, Cameron Inoue, and Mai Forsberg, our officiating crew. UConn in the road blue wins the opening tip.
Look for USF. They got to communicate defensively. They're going to pack it in the lane. They don't want dribble penetration of any kind. UConn has to knock down shots today.
The floater from Crystal Dangerfield, a good start for the sophomore. So the UConn part of the crowd will now sit down after the first UConn field goal. The USF half of the crowd on their feet until the Bulls score.
You'd think this would be, you know, a real home crowd for USF. I'm amazed at how many UConn fans are here.
Well, that's a good start defensively for UConn. They forced Loxa into a tough shot. Williams, they feed the post. Collier on the turnaround.
Pretty fadeaway by Collier. The last thing USF wanted was UConn to be 2 for 2 in their first 2 possessions.
See Samuelson shadowing Ferreira. They feed it on the inside, and I think the sophomore Henshaw was a little surprised to see how open she was, and she missed the mark again into the post. This time it's Gabby Williams, and what a start for the Huskies here in Tampa.
I know Jose Fernandez was more concerned with long-range shooting for UConn. I like UConn's mentality, dumping the ball into the lane early.
Jesperson second on the team in scoring at 17 points a game, down to 9 on the shot clock. Jesperson trying to move on Nurse. The runner is short. Jesperson's their leading rebounder, and this time he'll go down for Henshaw.
The relieved crowd can sit down here.
They watched a 6-0 run for the Huskies to get things going. Nurse will try from outside. Henshaw's a good rebounder, 4.5 a game. As I mentioned, Jesperson, their leading rebounder, nearly 10 boards a game. Mismatch here as Dangerfield guards Jesperson. Ferreira's 3 is no good. Dangerfield stood her ground against Jesperson and tipped away the loose ball.
Yeah, good inside position by Crystal.
Samuelson ready to shoot, and she knocks it down. Katie Lou Samuelson at 50% from outside the three-point line this season.
You know, even with a hand in the face, she is money.
Flores has a pretty good handle, and Gabby Williams learned that the hard way, but Gabby gets in the last word, getting a rebound. Collier, great catch and finish. The feed from Gabby Williams, and a timeout called by USF. And UConn flying off the bench to meet the starting 5 as they come off the floor. You cannot ask for a better start for the Huskies. UConn rolling on the run, and an early timeout called by the Bulls. Welcome back to the 24th meeting all time between UConn and USF. UConn has won the previous 23 meetings, including 9 here in Tampa. And they are getting it going, attacking the basket in the opening minutes, Meg.
Well, here, you know, USF cannot guard the dribble penetration very well there. Dangerfield exploited it. And another problem they have defensively is on the interior. They don't have a lot of big bodies back there, so Fernandez likes to stack the defense, clog that lane, get him in there. One-on-one in that low post is a struggle. They want to keep the ball in front of them and don't let UConn turn that corner and drive into the lane.
UConn's only missed 1 shot in 6 attempts. USF has made just 1 in 6 attempts. Jesperson guarded by Gabby Williams. Now the switch. UConn will switch on everything defensively. Jesperson trying to take it on Katie Lou Samuelson, but she is so much better defensively than what USF has faced in the past. But there's a player who's very good on the offensive glass. Henshaw gets the putback. She has all 4 of the Bulls' points.
Yeah, Henshaw is a screener and a rebounder. She's done a nice job tracking down offensive rebounds and putting them back up.
On the cut, Nurse will bring it back out to Dangerfield. Gabby Williams, that outside shot has not been there for her. And Fisa Collier gets the offensive rebound. Back outside, Nurse. Samuelson's 3. Rebound for Jesperson.
Terrific box out by Jesperson. Oh, nice pass.
Ferreira was cutting to the basket. Knocked away from behind by Dangerfield out of the hands of Jesperson, and numbers the other way for UConn. Nurse recognizing it, trying to attack the basket. Samuelson a little unselfish. She turned around, she could have scored.
Unselfish. Yeah, she was wide open in there, didn't realize it.
Ferreira for 3.
Good box out by UConn. Ferreira's got to knock that shot down. USF needs that bucket.
Dangerfield slows it down, gets the call from Gino Auriemma on the UConn bench, and UConn will go to work on offense. It results in an open look for Katie Lou Samuelson.
Nice screen by Gabby Williams to make Samuelson wide open at that top of the key.
Katie Lou, 19 points, 5 rebounds, a career-high 9 assists in the victory last time out Wednesday afternoon at ECU. UConn played very well in that game. Gino Auriemma even driving home the point these last couple of days of practice at USF. How happy he was with the performance, especially in that third quarter. Katie Lou Samuelson gets called for the foul.
You know, you don't know if that bum left ankle is going to inhibit some of her lateral movement. I think it was just a good drive there by Flores, and Samuelson was a little bit out of position.
You made a great point today while we were watching her shoot at shoot-around about how she comes down after taking the shot, maybe changing her footwork a little bit to guard against having...
Yeah, landing on her right foot. We'll keep track of it here tonight.
Certainly seems like something she's just going to have to manage all season long. She missed 4 games with that foot and ankle injury. Ball on the floor, and a tie-up possession arrow for UConn.
Well, she's 2 for 3 from three-point range so far, so the ankle seems fine. Here, good team defense. You know, you see 33, Kitty Alaksa. Kia Nurse is on her like a cheap suit.
Look at Dangerfield really extending the things defensively outside the three-point line. Now Williams on the switch. Flores got around her for 2.
Terrific take by Laya Flores. She's been more offensive-minded this year.
Averaging nearly 10 points a game, you're right. Nurse, she knew that was good when it left her hand. Jesperson had a step and knocks it down for 2.
Well, Williams took a chance. You know, maybe later in the game when Stevens is in, she's back there to maybe deflect or swat that shot. No such luck at this point.
Collier on the drive. Touched on it before. They cannot keep the driving players from UConn in front of them.
Yeah, really good spacing by UConn. They worked a lot on that in practice.
Block shot saved by Samuelson. We saw a similar save against CCU by Gabby Williams. And a finish on the other end. Kia Nurse got in the foul.
Spectacular fast break by the Huskies. They are laser focused here. Nice body control. But what a phenomenal pass by Dangerfield. Check this out. I mean, pinpoint pass. And then great body control. Can't finish on the free throw, but tremendous fast break.
Samuelson with another save. That's back-to-back trips where she saved it for UConn. And UConn has the basketball in the front court. Samuelson, another 3.
I tell you, there's something about South Florida that Samuelson just loves.
Playing against the South Florida team last year, Mohegan Sun in the title game, 10 for 10 from outside the three-point line. Collier, another defensive play for UConn, turning into offense on the other end. Dangerfield for 3. Crowd here wearing green thought Dangerfield traveled into that shot. It was not called.
I'm wearing orange, and I agree with them.
Flores.
Whoa.
Got Williams in the air. Jesperson's 3. Rebounded by Collier.
If you notice, Laksa has not gotten maybe one shot. She's 0 for 2 so far. Kia Nurse doing a phenomenal job defensively.
Williams feeds it inside to Collier. It's a 12-0 run for Connecticut. Another timeout for USF. What a first quarter for Gino Auriemma's team.
Haven't seen UConn play this well on both ends of the floor. Tremendous steal defensively and way beyond the line. And then how about that unselfish, savvy pass by the upperclassmen.
Collier, I'm sorry, Meg, 4 for 4 from the field as a team. UConn is 12 of 16 from the field here in the first quarter.
And you shoot that well when you're getting the right shots and the right flow. They've been able to turn a little bit of defense into offense, but they've run some really good half-court stuff. And I liked how often the opening tip, they look to get the ball into that low post, and it's been very effective.
In the last meeting in the American Championship game, UConn shot 70% from the field in the first half. So getting off to a good start against USF is nothing new for Connecticut. They have had some lopsided victories. At UConn last January, a year ago, when UConn picked up their 90th consecutive win, they won 102-37. Jose Fernandez has used a couple of timeouts here in the first quarter, and that's 2 personal fouls on Samuelson.
Loxa has a tendency to get frustrated when she doesn't get her shots, and UConn is doing a good job early to frustrate her. However, that's Samuelson's second foul, so she won't see much more time, I don't think, here as the first half progresses.
This is her first peek over to the bench. She had her back turned to the bench. I'm not looking over there.
Smart.
I'm not coming out.
And he doesn't look like he's gonna. Gino's not taking her out right now. And this is when you have to say to your upperclassmen, be smart. You've got 2, don't get 3.
Alyssa Rader into the game for USF. Number 54. Ferreira's drive blocked by Collier.
Collier has been outstanding defensively. Already her second block.
Dangerfield, deep 3. Azure Stevens on the floor now for UConn. Couldn't get to that rebound, and Flores back the other way for the Bulls, trying to run against Dangerfield, but she has the speed to keep up with Flores. Rader for 3. Followed her shot. Kicks it out. Open look. Samuelson, that could be foul number 3. It is. That foul is on Samuelson.
You know what? Her arm did hit the kid in the face. I can't disagree with Denise Brooks on that call.
Gabby Williams back into the game quickly. Samuelson goes to the bench with 3 personal fouls.
We don't have a good look at it, but I saw when she tried to box the kid out, she hit the kid in the head. It was an errant arm and contact, but contact nonetheless.
So UConn's leading scorer on the bench with 3 fouls. Loxa shut off by Collier. Great team defense by Connecticut, and it forces Loxa to take a deep 3. And UConn has it.
Now, Gino commented after the East Carolina game how different they are when Katie Lou Samuelson's on the bench. Let's see how their offense flows without her.
No, when you have a 6'6" post turning around and calmly knocking down her first shot, there's a little drop-off. 31 first quarter points for UConn. Jesperson, that 3 is off the mark. She's a 36% three-point shooter, 3rd on the team in threes made and attempted. This is an elite offensive team from USF, and they're facing an elite defensive team who's also elite on the offensive end.
How about just elite? And Nafisa Collier playing as well as I've seen her play this year. The quick pick and roll, nice timing, because Ferreira went up in the air. She knew it was coming. The nice pass, great timing to get the defense up in the air, and then a chance to convert the old school 3-point play.
Officials are having a conversation here. First, there'll be a substitution before the free throw comes as Vanessa Blagman comes into the game. Collier perfect so far, 5 of 5 from the field, 5 rebounds, 3 assists here in the first quarter. Shot clock is turned off as Ferrero brings it into the front court. Flores for 3. That's one thing you know from USF and Jose Fernandez. They won't hold for a final shot if they've got 20 seconds on the clock. They want shots, they want possessions, and they want to score. Dangerfield needs help. Has Collier. She's made everything except the final shot of the first quarter, but a tremendous opening quarter for the #1 team in the country. They come to Tampa and they take a 22-point lead over USF. Let's go to Meg for a look at Como's Court Vision, brought to you by Yale New Haven Health.
Well, check out here. Watch how Samuelson brings her defender down. Great angle there by Gabby Williams to set that screen. They come off shoulder to shoulder. Contact there on the screen, giving Samuelson plenty of time to drain the long-range three. Now there, a little flare screen. She goes down. Now she pops out the wing. Look, you know, not horrible defense there by Lockside. Left hand is extended, but Samuelson is money. You got to make her put that on the floor. That's the last player on this UConn team you're going to want to give a 3 to.
3 is the magic number for Katie Lou when it comes to fouls, however, on the bench with 3 personals, and Azure Stevens is fouled as she fights on the inside, and she'll shoot 2.
You know, the best 6 men, when they come into the game, 6 player, they come in and they change the game. Stevens has come into this game and has made a huge impact already. Every offensive possession, she's done something here. Offensive rebound, got herself fouled. It's exactly what the coaches want.
And she makes the first free throw of the night for Connecticut. You see the numbers for the redshirt junior from North Carolina. Had a lot of family and friends in Greenville, North Carolina, to see her play Wednesday afternoon. And because you can hear our voices, that means we successfully got out of Greenville. Took a little longer than expected because the one plow in town, well, let's just say it didn't get to us.
Let's not relive it.
But we're here and we're happy. Blackman to Ferreira. Ferreira kicks back outside. 4 to shoot for Flores. Wow. Dangerfield was right there.
It's a tough shot by Flores. That kid can play.
UConn by 22. They led by 25 in the first quarter. In that first quarter, each team attempted 20 shots. High percentage shots again for UConn. Williams to Stevens. USF made 5 shots of their 20 attempts in the first quarter. UConn made 14 of their 20 attempts in the quarter.
UConn is just zoned in. Nurse just went through over a screen and bumped her right thigh again, and she's limping. The Charlie horse that she got in that ECU game, nothing serious, but a little aggravation.
In practice, I'll assume in the game as well, she's wearing a thigh pad, almost like a football pad to protect that thigh a little bit, but there's still going to be some tenderness there. Stevens. Collier can't get the rebound. Running down the court is Rader. Pretty good catch by Rader, but could not hold on to. You see a little bit of the intensity the redshirt sophomore who transferred in from Northern Arizona brings to this USF team. She became eligible December 15th. As you take a look at Nurse, and we'll keep an eye on her as she moves around.
You can see a little limp.
Williams, Rader came over. Good defensive play by USF. Last touch by the Bulls. 17 to shoot for UConn. This is what happened to Kia Nurse at ECU on Wednesday as she took a knee to the right thigh. Ooh. So Charlie Horse, she left the game. Stevens knocks down the 3. 9 points off the bench for Stevens.
And we saw her working on her 3 from about that same spot in practice today. Hard work pays off.
Rader trying to drop the shoulder. Look at Stevens. Stevens battling on the inside. Stevens holding her ground.
I tell you, I like Rader's toughness, though.
Collier knocked out of bounds by USF's Blackman.
To your point, tremendous defensive presence by Stevens, but how about on the offensive end? Set a screen on the ball, and then flare out, boom. And then toughness down here by Alyssa Rader.
Azure Stevens now 5 of 27 from outside the 3-point line this season. That foul on Collier. That's her first personal and the first team foul of the quarter.
And those are the fouls that as a coach, you don't like, because you miss the shot and then you reach and lurch for that ball and then commit that foul. A little bit of frustration.
Speaking of frustration, Nurse hanging with Loxa. On the reach, Collier got a hand on it. Ferreira fighting. There's Stevens there to try to swat it away, and it's grabbed by Gabby Williams.
What team defense by UConn. Best I've seen this year.
Dangerfield on the pull-up. And how does the defense change when Azurá Stevens is there? Because we always see them switch on the screens, but when Stevens is out there, they stay with their man, right?
Yeah, they can't switch because she can't be guarding a guard out around the perimeter. But they fight through and they stay with their man. But then they know Stevens is back there to help out and block a shot if need be.
Loxa tries to shoot over the piece of Collier. Loxa struggling here in the early going. 0 for 4 from the field. Williams still fighting and gets the putback.
She's a little frustrated, Williams, but I love the toughness and the hustle.
Kicked out for a 3. That's Blackman, the freshman from Stockbridge, Georgia. Plays 8 minutes a game, averaging just 1.5 points a game, but USF is going to need someone to step up here to try to cut into this deficit.
No question, and that's only her 3rd 3 of the season. She was 2 for 10 coming in.
Seven to shoot. Stevens thought about it.
She forced it, yeah.
Flores tries to take it at Gabby Williams. That's Azurá Stevens. She had the turnover on one end, but she made up for it on the other.
Absolutely. You know what? As she continues to get more confident, she'll take a 3 on the other end instead of force that pass. But here, good presence. Williams there to help as well. But just spectacular long arm range there by Stevens.
Nafisa Collier played outstanding basketball in the first half. She heads to the bench, and Megan Walker comes in. Walker's game getting better and better over these last couple of weeks as she's battled back from injury. Jesperson tries to work on the freshman. Grabbed by Azurá Stevens.
With more confidence, she'll take that shot.
Dangerfield can't get it. Williams couldn't get the rebound, and she hit the deck pretty hard. Numbers back the other way for USF. Stevens made it tough on Flores. Loxa still trying to work for every shot, and that's going to be a foul on Dangerfield, I do believe. Now they'll give it to Megan Walker, so the foul on Walker, her first. It comes with 4:59 to go in the second quarter in what has been a spectacular first half for the Huskies. Gary Apple, Carol Walters standing by in studio with first half analysis and more. You'll hear from Azurá Stevens on the UConn Halftime Show, presented by your local Ford dealer. That's coming up in just a bit. Great defense by UConn. Kia Nurse leading the way against USF's top scorer.
See, the scout is you got to force her left because she wants to dribble with her right hand, and they always know where she is. There's always a teammate to help Kia Nurse, but she has done such an outstanding job. Not only keeping the ball out of Lox's hands, but then forcing her to her left. Team, look, there, Collier reaching in to help. Tremendous team defense and awareness. I haven't seen the Huskies play this well defensively all season.
They've done a good job against the junior from Latvia. Last year in 3 games against UConn, she was 7 of 22 from outside the three-point line. Today she's 0 for 4 on threes against UConn, 0 for 5 overall.
UConn has a tendency of doing that. We talk about it time and again. They take away the opponent's best player.
UConn trying to get things sorted out defensively. Right now, Stevens is guarding Loxa. UConn communicating, trying to get the right player.
Yeah, Williams stepped in and took over.
Loxa trying to drive on Williams. Look at the block by Gabby Williams.
Well, they didn't want her to go to her right hand. Gabby said, that's okay, I got you.
This is a defensive clinic for the Huskies. Holding USF to 18 points so far. 8 of 30 shooting, and a foul called on USF. Here's Justine.
Hey, Eric. Well, there was still a lot of intensity in that huddle. Gino told his team, run some offense, make them defend you. On the defensive end, he said, keep them out of the lane. You really have to guard them. Go after the ball. Don't wait for it to come to you. Guys?
Justine, you'll remember what Gino said to you walking off the court at ECU about how sometimes the offense bogs down a little bit when Katie Lou Samuelson isn't in the game. Well, Katie Lou Samuelson will not be in the game until the third quarter with 3 personal fouls, so this is a good test to see how his team can respond.
Absolutely. It's nice to see the team respond in short order, just the next game after he made those comments.
Walker has her shot blocked. Flores kicks it out to Jespersen.
Oh, yeah, mix up defensively for UConn. They got lucky. They got very lucky. USF couldn't finish.
Henshaw not known as a scorer. She's a rebounder. She set screens and she couldn't get it done on the inside. She's now 2 of 4 from the field. 3:45 to go in the second quarter. That's a tough pass. Gabby Williams tried to get into Stevens.
She tried to thread a needle there. Too many white jerseys.
Stevens will head out of the game. Nafisa Collier comes back in. So it's Dangerfield, Walker, Williams, Nurse, and Collier, the 5 on the floor. Henshaw picked up her dribble. Flores came to help out. Good challenge for Crystal Dangerfield here tonight, taking on the point guard leading the conference in assists, and they force a turnover.
Kia Nurse, phenomenal defense.
Dangerfield steps back, can't make it 3, but guess who's on the offensive glass? Kia Nurse. I would say every player is locked in tonight, but there is one player in particular who seems to be setting the tone, and it's Kia Nurse.
Yeah, and one of the hardest workers, the toughest, and has the toughest assignment, and boy, is she stepping up to the challenge.
Williams, little head fake, tough shot. Collier comes in to get the offensive rebound. Dangerfield knocks down the 3.
All because of the tremendous hustle by Collier to save that possession and grab the offensive rebound. Loxa getting frustrated.
Now UConn can go back to switching defensively with Stevens out of the game, and another block for the Huskies. Kia Nurse takes off Loxa. Well, that was a borderline play there by Loxa. It looked like she leaned into Kia Nurse a little bit. Nurse doesn't seem to take exception with it, and she'll shoot a couple of free throws.
Yeah, you got to watch Kia Nurse. See, she's in the middle of the lane. That's classic Man-U ball, but always knows where her man is, right? She is just playing as well as you can play. Doing a really good job of keeping Loxa from even getting the ball.
Loxa heads to the bench, 0 of 6 from the field after picking up the personal foul, her second personal foul.
And they're a different team. You know, when she's not scoring, she averages 22 a game. They are a very different team without her in the flow offensively.
Herrera shut off. Jespersen, little baseline jumper, won't go. There's Collier on the glass.
Those are shots that Jespersen typically makes, mainly because they got to work so hard to get shots. And she averages 17 a game. Struggling a bit here today.
Collier, so patient, waited for everybody to commit defensively. Nafisa Collier has 12 to lead Connecticut.
Decision-making on point for UConn in so many different ways here tonight.
Abby Williams, another great defensive play by UConn. Sets things the other way, and Dangerfield can't hit this 3. Touched last by Collier, USF ball.
USF looking pretty demoralized on that bench. Their coaching staff, Jose and his staff, will turn things around at halftime. You know, they'll make some adjustments, but they gotta have fire. Keep competing.
Williams tracks down another rebound. Walker. And now Dangerfield will settle things down. Final minute of play of the second quarter. 7 rebounds for Gabby Williams, 7 rebounds for Nafisa Collier. The handoff to Dangerfield.
Such execution. Their spacing has been terrific. They worked on it in practice yesterday and it's shooting around today. Got to feel good about they're doing what they were told to do.
Gino Auriemma told Megan Walker to back up. Walker lost Ferrer after Ferrer missed the shot, and Jespersen scores. 4 points now for Jespersen on 2 of 9 shooting. Dangerfield with the clock winding down here in the first half. Down to 5 to Walker, down to 2 to Collier, down to 1. At the buzzer, count it. That is the final play of the first half, and UConn will take a 33-point lead to the locker room at halftime. 14 points for Napheesa Collier, got it off just in time. 53-20 the score. I don't know if Gino Auriemma could ask for much more from his team, but Justine Ward is about to ask him. It's all yours, Justine.
Gino, a lot of good things in that first half. What stood out to you?
Well, our defense, you know, that's kind of where everything starts, you know. I mean, to hold this team that's averaging 80 to 20 points. That was as good a defensive half as we've had in a long, long time. And can't say enough about what Gabby's doing on the defensive end, and her and Kia especially. And that's what starts everything. And when we're playing defense like that, we're a hard team to beat.
What kind of boost will you get from Katie Lou when we come out of this half?
Well, I was really thrilled with what we did without her. So she'll be good and rested. I know her arm will be rested. Let's put it that way.
Thanks, Gino. Eric?
Gino's chat with Justine, presented by PC Richard & Son. Even the bull looks a little sad, trying to pick things up here in the Sun Dome. What a first half for UConn. 51-20. Huskies at the half. Gary and Kara standing by. Highlights aplenty in that first half for UConn. They shot 54% from the field as you take a look at the halftime stats presented by Bob's Discount Furniture. They only turned the ball over 2 times. They had 6 blocks and 6 steals and turned those 6 USF turnovers into 12 points. And right from the very beginning, they were dominating in the paint. It's 51-20. It's 51 points because after video review, the final hoop of the first half did not count. Napheesa Collier still had the ball in her hand as the red light went on. So UConn will have to settle for 20 of 37 shooting from the field. Eric and Meg back with you here courtside in Tampa. And really, we could talk about offense all day long, but it's the defensive performance that really stands out for UConn here through the first half.
You know, interestingly, all season long, Gino Auriemma has told us that his team is not a good defensive team. I haven't seen, and he alluded to it with Justine, haven't seen them play better defense in quite a long time. And that was spearheaded by Kia Nurse, who really locked up Kitty Alexa, and the kid could not get going. But great team defense and the energy and how locked and loaded they were, then the way they turned that into offense. I mean, look at that, 0 for 6. Kid who averages 7 assists a game, averages 22 points a game, second in the conference. And they're looking for divine intervention here in the second half.
There's a sister act that could provide it, perhaps.
Gotta have a sense of humor too, right? Great energy in this crowd, and I would expect USF to come out and play a lot better basketball than they played in that first 20 minutes.
UConn played well without their leading scorer, Katie Lou Samuelson, who left with her 3rd personal foul with 1:15 to go in the first quarter. She is out there to start the second half, and she was there defensively to make it tough on Laxa. Williams, Nurse, Samuelson. Collier calls for it and knocks down the 3.
Tremendous pass from Samuelson and a nice finish by Collier.
UConn's largest lead was 33 in the first half, and an early foul called on Kia Nurse.
How about this nice penetration with the help defense and the smart kick out to the wide open Collier, who finishes.
First personal on Nurse. Loxa just trying to rush it, get it off very quickly. She usually doesn't need much time or space to get a shot off, and Loxa gets called for the personal foul. Third on Kitty Loxa. Preseason American first team selection, leading the nation in three-pointers made per game, has scored 20 or more 8 times this season, but she has been held in check by UConn. Gabby Williams at the free throw line.
Yeah, it's impressive to average 4 threes a game. I mean, that's an incredible statistic, and you have to give Kia Nurse and the entire UConn defense a tremendous amount of credit for locking her up so far. 1 of 2 for Gabby Williams. Last year here at USF, Gabby had 18 points, 9 rebounds, 5 on the offensive end, and 7 assists. Loxa tries again, comes up empty again, and here's Gabby Williams. Samuelson couldn't get the pull-up. Gabby Williams got a hand in there and kept it alive. Another hustle play from the senior. I don't know how they didn't call it for a foul. And then she was jumping up and down wide open down in the lane, and Dangerfield gasped and said, no, I can't try that. Too risky. Samuelson did a good job catching it, gathering it, setting, and she swished it. What else did she do? Didn't matter, she only played 9 minutes in the first half due to those 3 fouls. She's made 4 3-pointers for 12 points. Loxa will heave it again. Ferrero with the offensive rebound. Home crowd still standing until USF scores. There's usually a great flow and rhythm to the South Florida offense, but UConn has taken them out of that flow and rhythm here tonight. Second chance here for Jespersen. Kia Nurse stood her ground. It's a team that scores on average 80 points a game, and there's been a lid on the basket. That lid has been put there by everyone wearing blue, although this time they find a way to score. Samuelson was fouled on her way to the basket. Hustle plays. Well, yeah, we saw this against East Carolina. Williams, like just there, she kept that alive. And then look what happens after that great hustle. Another 3 for Samuelson. Well, free throw shooting hasn't been perfect for UConn as you take a look at Gabby's line. 1 of 2 for Samuelson. 13 points for Katie Lou. Nafisa Collier leading the way with 15. Crystal Dangerfield with 10 for the top-ranked Huskies. I like how more offensive-minded Dangerfield has been this evening. Flores lost the handle. Samuelson picked it up. And we'll hand it off to Collier. Entry pass to Williams. Got it out to Dangerfield, who took the shot. Tipped out of bounds by Jespersen. UConn basketball. On Wednesday at 7, the UConn men will host UCF at Gamble Pavilion. Get your tickets today at UConnTickets.com. UConn men's basketball built for banners. UConn picking up their first win on the men's side in the American with a victory over ECU at the XL Center today. Samuelson to Williams. Williams to the basket. How about that step through to get herself open? So athletic. Jespersen. That's Williams coming in to knock that away. Nurse to Dangerfield. Little sense of showtime right now for the Huskies. Collier off the window for 2. I tell you, they can do no wrong, much to his chagrin. He wants a timeout, does Jose Fernandez. Will take it as well. UConn has come out of the locker room at halftime, and they're doing what UConn does. They've outscored USF 12-2 in the quarter.
UConn rolling here in Tampa on top 63-22. As we bring you the drive of the game presented by Buick. Plenty to choose from, but we're going to give Gabby Williams the spotlight right here.
Well, here's the pick and roll. And then how about the way she just gets herself to the rim using the offhand. And Collier gets out of the way. Boom! Explosion. I tell you, there aren't many people who play the game like Gabby Williams.
You see the stat line for Gabby at 3 steals and a block to that line. She was 18 of 19 from the field in her first 2 conference games. She's playing with a ton of that confidence that we've come to expect from Gabby.
She said, bring on the AAC.
The AAC says, we'd rather not. Collier with the rebound. Dangerfield always with her head up. Now looks over to the bench, and UConn will run their offense. Shea Leverett, sophomore out of Georgia, into the game for the first time, number 21. They brought Alyssa Rader back on. And also Vanessa Blagman is into the game. And a palming violation called on Crystal Dangerfield, just the 3rd turnover for the Huskies.
I tell you, that was the first offensive possession where we saw UConn, miss a few things. Collier had been wide open on the opposite wing. You can see Gino not too concerned about it.
USF is 1 of 9 from the field here to start the second half. Rader for 3. Azrae Stevens getting ready to come back into the game for the Huskies. Williams back to Nurse. Collier skips it over to Samuelson. Ferreira closed out on her. Williams tipped it out, but into the hands of Blagman. Blagman, nice little dish. Just couldn't finish. About the best offense tonight for USF. They just didn't get anything out of it. Collier. 2 more for Napheesa Collier. Went for 14 on 6 of 10 shooting against ECU. She has 19 tonight on 9 of 12 shooting. Rader. You can tell Alyssa Rader, who is just playing her 7th game for UCF. They'll bring a little grit to this team.
I tell you, the transfer from Northern Arizona, she made a difference the minute she came in this game. That's back in the first half. This kid's going to be a player.
Collier with the Raider there defensively. Beautiful feed. Nurse to the cutting Collier.
Another perfectly executed offensive possession.
21 for Collier. Over the 20-point mark for the 3rd time this season. Flores, good find on the inside.
Flores is so smart. There was a switch and some miscommunication defensively. She made him pay.
Gabby Williams to the basket. Wouldn't go down, but she will go to the free throw line when we come back. Connecticut rolling over USF 67-30. Plenty of stars on both ends of the floor. Napheesa Collier leading the way. 10 of 13 from the field. She has a double-double tonight. 21 points, 10 rebounds. Timeout here in Tampa with UConn up 37. UConn playing like a fine-tuned machine because it's a group of finely tuned machines. Here's Justine to explain.
Hey, Eric. Well, something new for the UConn training staff this year. GPS monitoring. Players are wearing belts that tracks their movement in practice and in games. It tracks their heart rate, distance, and their workload. And it's especially helpful for quantifying all the work that they put in. And the trainer, Amanda Kimball, said it's really going to be helpful come February when they prepare for March Madness. They actually can see the numbers as to where this team is at conditioning-wise. And the players have gotten into it. They look at the iPad and they ask her tons of questions.
Well, the first question I would have is, I don't want Amanda Kimmel knowing exactly everything I'm eating and doing, because I think the iPad would probably melt down. But it really is an interesting thing. You know, Justine talked about recently, some of the different numbers, the analytics that the team uses. It's not just let's practice hard, let's outwork everybody, and let's beat teams by 40 or 50 points. There's all sorts of work done behind the scenes that now you pull back the curtain a little bit and you see one area where it's just making sure that they're hitting these performances.
Especially in this long season where there's travel and there's fatigue, and every athlete responds differently to different situations. So it's a great way to just to keep an eye on these players and keep them as healthy as they can.
Megan Walker into the game, and Shane Leverett has 4 points all in the second half, averaging under 3 points a game. Dislocated her right shoulder against Notre Dame, missed a couple of games. You see she has that shoulder wrapped up pretty tight. Azurá Stevens on the floor as well with Walker. Out of that timeout, Collier inside. 2 more for Napheesa Collier.
Another great decision and super patience by Collier on that offensive possession. She is playing her best game of the year by far.
She matches her season high, Meg, with 23 points. And look at her there in the defensive end, knocking it away. And now Dangerfield leads it for Walker. First points for the freshman.
Again, the confidence continues to rise. I like the decision on the break to pull up by the freshman.
Napheesa Collier now with 23 points, 4 assists, 4 blocks, 2 steals, and 10 rebounds. Flores couldn't get it. Grabbed by Collier. Add another rebound to her total.
Yeah, good inside position there by Fisa.
Kicked outside to Walker. Samuelson's 3. Won't stay down. There's Stevens knocking it out of bounds. It'll be USF basketball.
You know, they say active hands defensively, right? Pressure the ball. And that's on Flores. Just got a little too lackadaisical looking for a teammate. Heads up play by Collier.
Kia Nurse back into the game as Crystal Dangerfield gets a rest. Samuelson, Nurse, Collier, Stevens, Walker, the 5 on the floor for UConn. Ferreira. Been a tough night for Ferreira, now 0 of 12 from the field. Our next UConn game on SNY will be Tuesday. The Huskies are back home at Gamble to host the Knights of UCF. Our pregame coverage on SNY gets underway at 6:30 p.m. The game at Gamble will end a run of 11 straight games off campus for UConn as they take on the UCF team that's won 7 of their last 8 after they beat Wichita State today. Nurse fighting for the basketball, diving for the loose ball. She's not the only one on the floor.
Outstanding hustle by both teams, but I love how Nurse dove in there like it was a rugby game.
Charlie Horse, what Charlie Horse?
Yeah, great hustle.
Look at it. You can just see there the look on Kia's face.
She wasn't giving up that ball.
That's going to be a foul on Rader as she was trying to muscle up with Azurá Stevens. That's her 3rd personal foul. This really has, going back to what Justine talked about monitoring the players, they're a little tired. They have not shown it at all here today. Remember, this trip started Tuesday. They went to North Carolina. They had to change the scheduling because of the snow. They'll fly back home after the game tonight, get in late night, and then they're at home Tuesday before going down to Texas as Collier scores again for a couple of games on a road trip against Houston and against the Texas Longhorns. So there's been a ton of travel this year for this UConn team, but they look plenty fresh here tonight.
They played 1 game in Gamble.
That's right. When they play UCF Tuesday, it's their first time back at Gamble since the Cal game, when
which was
Samuelson got hurt. Flores nowhere to go against Azurá Stevens, and Stevens gets tied up. Possession arrow USF. 6 on the shot clock, 13 on the game clock in the 3rd quarter. They get a good look from Ferreira, just not dropping for her today. Last touch by Samuelson. And a chance for a final shot here for the Bulls. USF 12-3, 2-0 in the conference to start, 6-0 here at home. 24 wins a season to go for USF. There's Collier hitting another hand in on it.
Basketball.
Walker guarding Flores. Back out to Ferreira. Ferreira has to get it off to beat the clock. She had more time. And stepping out of bounds, 9/10 of a second to go, was Blackman.
UConn basketball.
Kia Nurse will just let the time run out. You know, everything's gone in for UConn. I think Nafisa wanted Kia just to at least try it from 75 feet. In that kind of game. What a third quarter for Nafisa Collier. She scored 11 of her 23 points in that quarter, and UConn is rolling in Tampa. Well, I have to apologize to Nafisa Collier, her family, UConn fans. I shortchanged her 2 points. She scored so quickly that I missed a field goal. 25 points for Nafisa, 13 in that third quarter.
Well, I mean, she's feeling it down low. I love the fadeaway, creating the space and kissing it, running the floor exceptionally well with her patience tonight and getting the defense off their feet and finishing. She did that a couple times here, and I mean, 4 assists, 4 blocks, 2 steals, no turnovers. She's played almost perfect basketball, certainly her best of the season.
She heads to the bench. Kyla Irwin into the game for the first time for UConn as we begin the fourth quarter here in Tampa. First of 2 meetings in the regular season between these two teams. And Azurá Stevens starts the quarter with the jumper. 13 points for Stevens off the bench.
Nurse not letting Loxa catch the ball. I see frustration on Loxa's face.
Loxa and Jespersen back into the game, and Jespersen traveled. That's the 11th turnover for USF. UConn is taking care of the basketball, just 3 turnovers. And the top scorer for this USF team, second in the conference at 21.5 points a game, has been the target for UConn defensively. Megan Walker can't hit the 3. Jespersen with the rebound. And we've usually seen through the years when UConn wants to take someone out of the game with their defense, they're able to do it. Jespersen straightaway 3 rolls in.
Jespersen's first 3 of the night.
Stevens turns, says why not.
The home crowd calling for a walk there on Stevens.
Still upset about the one that Dangerfield got away with, in their opinion. Here's Nurse, turns it to the middle of the court. Jespersen back, and a very hard foul. That's the second time that Nurse has taken a hard tumble, taking it to the basket.
And Jespersen went right in there to pick her up. These kids play hard. Nice steal. She knew something was coming.
What do you think of that foul?
I thought it was a hard foul, but
over the line. They're going to go look at the monitor here.
Her second, team's first.
So the officials will go to video to review to see if it's anything more than a common foul.
Previous play is under review.
If this qualifies as an unsportsmanlike foul.
she went for the ball.
Everybody remembers Megan from her playing days, who was...
Our fans aren't that old.
Who believed in playing the game hard, and as long as you go for the ball.
You know, the fact that she had her hand immediately outstretched to help Nurse get up, I think may help, but she did go for the ball. Yes, it was hard.
Well, the officials still want to confer as they continue to watch the monitors. You take a look at the senior from Denmark. Such an international flavor as always with this USF team. 6 of their 10 players on the active roster, internationals, including their 4 best players. They played a tough schedule as well. They lost to Notre Dame, lost to Oklahoma, lost to Michigan State, 3 teams that UConn faced this year. Just a common foul after the video review. That's what Megan thought.
Yeah, I thought she went for the ball. I mean, it's a physical game. These kids care a lot. You know, no one wants to be losing by this amount. Yeah, there's a little bit of frustration in there, but she went for the ball.
You know, with 8 points to go along with 4 assists and 3 rebounds, but I think the work she did today will not show up on the stat sheet. She set the level of intensity, along with Gabby Williams, for this UConn team on the defensive end. Walker, beautiful return from Samuelson to the freshman.
Spectacular pass from Samuelson. Typical unselfish UConn play.
Now Loxa defended by Nurse. Turns. Kia Nurse continues to win that battle. Dangerous pass from Stevens and easy turnover taken away by USF. Jesperson will drive, makes the extra pass, and laying it in is Rader. Henshaw, excuse me. Henshaw now with 8. Henshaw and Rader are the scoring leaders for USF, both with 8 points. Samuelson's 3. Stevens. Tough to stop that.
Well, what UConn wants to do is force the other team's other players to step up and try to beat them. And they've been very successful taking away USF's best scoring options.
Flores' pass behind Jesperson, 2-on-2 the other way. Samuelson was fouled by Flores, and she hit the basket support very hard. Flores is down, and she hit really hard the base of the basket support. Helping her up before the athletic training staff can get over, but that looked like a real hard hit.
So you see the foul.
Looked like she had just enough time maybe to brace herself a little bit, and she hit the outside of the basket support, but I think she's going to come out of the game here now.
Yeah, clearly shaken up, but thankfully she's okay.
Well, there's 2 things you got to guard against. You can see her grabbing at her back right away. You want to protect your players here because you have to look at the big picture. The next game is Temple on Wednesday for USF. You talked to Jose Fernandez about it as well, assistant coach. Jeff Osterman about the UConn hangover. You get so geared up for taking on the #1 team in the country and trying to slow them down. You don't want that to hurt your team's mindset and psyche.
Yeah, you want this to be 1 loss and not 2 or 3.
Samuelson making a couple of free throws. 15 points for Katie Lewis. She heads to the bench. Molly Bent on for the Huskies. Stevens, Bent, Walker, Irwin, Nurse, the 5 on the floor for UConn. The Huskies built a 25-point lead in the first quarter as Ferreira is off the mark. Ferreira's now 0 for 15. Bent. Irwin. Irwin will step back. Azure Stevens keeps it alive.
Kia Nurse in there fighting for that offensive rebound as well. I love the hustle right now, Eric.
7 rebounds for Stevens. You don't see a drop-off here for UConn. You bring in some reserves. Stevens with a deep 3. Another battle for the loose ball. Picked up. Irwin wide open for 3. Crowd loves that. UConn bench loves it even more. Irwin gets the 3-pointer. That's the second 3 she's made this season, and she gets called for a block on the other end.
You know, at this stage in the game, when the guys come off the bench and do something, that's what makes this program different.
First one good for Jespersen. Tuesday at 7, top-ranked UConn back home at Gamble to take on UCF. You can get your tickets today at UConnTickets.com. UConn women's basketball demand more. Our meteorological sources tell us that it'll be warmer by the time Tuesday rolls around, so you can leave your igloos in Connecticut, come on out to Gamble, or join us here on SNY. Nurse sets for 3. 5:20 to go in the fourth quarter.
It's always a good box out when the shot hits the floor before anyone's hands.
Prieto, who's in for Flores. Now Molly Bent. Back out top to Kia Nurse. Azure Stevens with a quick first step. She takes it to the hoop for 2 more.
How about the way she takes that ball, crosses over, and attacks the rim?
Rader tries to work on Stevens, and a jump ball, possession arrow, USF with 11 to shoot when we come back. Talk about teamwork in this game. We've seen it throughout. On display here on this play, Megan Walker, Katie Lou Samuelson, Megan Walker, UConn running away with it. Believe me, that's just a small taste of what's to come on the premiere of Gino's Legacy Tuesday at 9:30 only on SNY. Meg, I think, is getting choked up just off that 25 seconds.
I was. Well, I also saw Caroline Doty in there. She's back in Connecticut and is recovering from yet more knee surgery. So, Caroline, we're thinking of you, and hope you're doing great.
I believe the team ordered up a 50-point lead, Caroline, to make you feel a little bit better. So I hope it helps. Walker got hacked, and she'll head to the free throw line to shoot 2.
I like the post up there by Walker.
Michaela Coombs is coming to the game for the Huskies as Megan goes to the free throw line. After missing a couple of games with illness, back-to-back solid performances, 10 of 15 from the field in the first 2 games of her American career, including 10 points against ECU. Six points now for Walker. Ferreira, I'll give her credit. She had to stop, but then she makes it. And Jespersen took a shot. That's why they stopped play. I didn't see what happened. She will come out of the game. I wonder if somebody from Connecticut got it. She doesn't look too thrilled.
It's a physical
comes
game.
back in. Well, we've seen some hard fouls. Kia Nurse got hit hard a couple of times. Walker, tough take. There's Rader. Takes it away and puts it on the floor. Got rid of it just before Walker could get a chance to knock it away. Rader pulls the trigger, knocks down another 3.
Rader is on fire.
She had a good freshman season for Northern Arizona, averaged 14.5 points a game, 9 rebounds. Went for 27 in one game. Stevens looks like she took a shot from Rader. She got rid of that basketball. Ferreira to Rader. Stevens got the rebound, and now Molly Bent has it. Ferreira goes down. Bent tried to get it into Irwin, but traveled. Coming up, join Gary Apple and Carol Walters on the UConn Women's Basketball Postgame Show presented by People's United Bank. It's right after we're done here in Tampa on SNY. Desiree Stevens is done for the day. She heads to the bench as Lexi Gordon comes on. Stevens, 15 points on 6 of 11 shooting in her 18 minutes, also had 9 rebounds. Prieto gets her first points. Walker. Gordon, extra pass to Molly Bent. Knocks down the 3.
Molly Bent.
More great passing. More excitement on the bench.
Coombs pulls down the rebound. Michaela with it, kicks it off to Bent for Irwin. Walker calls for it. Molly Bent with an offensive rebound, and UConn will reset. Coombs kicks it over to Lexi Gordon, but a whistle and an offensive foul called on Coombs. And now Batuli Kamara will check in. So everyone with the team has gotten into the game here for the top-ranked Huskies. Walker playing 18 minutes tonight, scoring 6 points. Flagman's shot, rebounded by Molly Bent. Bent trying to cross-court pass, deflected and grabbed by Irwin. Gordon down to 9 on the shot clock. Bent works with Irwin. Irwin takes a 3 and makes it. Kyla Irwin, her second three-pointer of the half.
Nice execution by that group out on the floor.
One minute to play here in Tampa. Right from the opening tip, a dominating performance by the top-ranked Huskies. Prieto.
And to show you how much I know, what did I say to you moments before the game started? I said I thought this game was going to be close.
Here's Gordon on the drive, shut off on the baseline, and she stepped on the baseline. It'll be USF basketball. Well, like we talked about right at the top of the telecast, Megan, this is a matchup that UConn, they're always ready and always prepared for a game at different levels of intensity. There's NCAA tournament time or conference tournament time, but they are dialed up against USF. And look at the results of these past few games. Last meeting,
it's mind-boggling.
In the tournament, they won 100-44. They won 102-37 last year. Here's Irwin. Irwin had it tied up, possession arrow, Connecticut. Last year here at USF, the final score was 96-68. That's the game where Collier scored 39. Today, Collier, another tremendous performance. Here's Bent, back to Kamara, looking to get rid of it. Lexi Gordon. Bent back to Kamara, takes a look at the clock, now Bent. Molly Bent for 3, got it! It's 100 for UConn here in Tampa. They hit the century mark. What a performance by the Huskies.
That's it, Bulls fans. Your final score, UConn 100, Bulls
100-49 the final. You said it a couple of times here tonight. This was a different level for UConn here against USF.
They just, they shifted into a gear that I had not seen this year. I'm not so sure Gino had seen his team play like this season, but it was It was pretty spectacular.
You're usually not at a loss for words, but you're grabbing right now. Tonight's Player of the Game presented by People's United Bank is Nafisa Collier. Another great performance against USF. 12 of 15 from the field, 25 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists as UConn rolls 100-49 the final. Here's Gino and Justine.
Gino, a 50-plus point victory. The defensive performance tonight. Is this team on track as to where they should be?
Well, tonight we certainly were. I mean, they're two of their best players, you know, ended up, I think, 1 for 27, something like that. We did a great job defensively, and when we play like this, as I said earlier, it's fun to watch, and we're really a good team, and the ball movement was great. This was a great effort tonight, against a good team. I mean, they're obviously not as bad as they played today, but it's a great way to wrap up this trip.
Why was Nafisa Collier so dominant tonight?
Fisa? You know, those are the same shots she's been getting all year, and she just hasn't been making them. I don't know. Last time we were here, she had a big night. Fisa's just struggling a little bit, or struggled a little bit with her confidence. You know, she started missing, and it got into her head, and hopefully, you know, that's gone, and she can start picking up where she left off last year.
You said it was a great way to wrap up this trip. To take this win home, what does it mean to this team?
Well, we got another trip coming up next weekend. That's a tough one. You know, we're at Houston and then at Texas, but stick at home for a week and know that we won under a lot of different conditions, you know, whether it's, you know, travel to the West Coast, travel here, the snow, everything. So, well, it means a lot right now, but it's not going to be so much fun when they land at 2 o'clock in the morning and it's 10 below zero.
Late night and a cold one. All right, thank you, Gino. Aaron.
Thank you, Justine. UConn now 13-0 on the season, 3-0 in conference play after the 100-49 victory over USF. UConn women's basketball on SNY, brought to you by People's United Bank. You like zone coverage? People's United Bank has 150 branches in Connecticut, member FDIC. By Subaru of New England, supplying all-wheel drive vehicles with a passion for winter adventure. By Connecticut Lottery, you can't win if you don't play. And by Connecticut Lighting Centers and Restoration Lighting Gallery Centers. So much more than just a lighting store. UConn wins it 100-49. Back with a final word before we get to the post-game show next.